Welcome to another episode of Come Together. Man, we're live. L'chaim, dude. Cheers. Pouring out for Charlie, man.
Oh, man.
So many places to go with this, dude.
Baruch Ben Hanan.
Yeah, man.
What a holy soul. No, so about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that people would say that he was shot and killed by Israel or a Jew. He's like the biggest advocate,
Yeah.
biggest non-Jewish advocate for Israel
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And so vocal, and he has such far reach. It makes more sense
And
to
such
keep a guy like
influence on
that.
on the youth generation too. Like if Israel's been losing the PR war for the last 3 years on on campuses and across like the youth groups,
Right.
he's literally one of the only advocates that's going like from college campus to college campus preaching about Israel or talking about the positive influence of Israel.
And people were saying that he's like shifting gears.
Yeah.
Right? That's the claim. But there is still so much more to gain from him being 95% pro
on your page.
than 5% critical, which is fine.
It's insanity, dude.
It's so dumb.
But also, we know that they found this kid.
You what?
They found the kid.
They found
Apparently.
the kid. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. What do you?
Does that mean that they're gonna stop being anti? They're gonna.
No, well, of course not. But you think that? But I mean, I'm sure the kid's not a huge fan of Israel. You know. I'm sure the 22-year-old.
I bet you they'll find some way to link it back. Netanyahu paid this guy to shoot him, or they said I haven't looked into it so much, but they said that there was like a Jewish guy who stopped
who claimed to be the shooter first to like let the guy get away.
There's always a Jewish guy that f's things up.
I don't know, man. You know what's funny? I was talking to my college students about it, and they were like, "How could the FBI make a mistake? How could the FBI
students,
high school students about this?" And they were like, "How could the FBI make two mistakes on like who the guy is? Like, wouldn't like witnesses like say who it was?" And I'm like, I want to paint like a picture. Like, I was like, if I'm 19 or 20, and Charlie Kirk is coming, and I'm going with my friends and hanging out in the back, I'm probably pretty drunk. Like, I'm probably pre-gaming that like event, and
yeah, they probably weren't sober.
yeah, and also like you're in a crowd with thousands of people. He's speaking. All of a sudden, like it probably happens so fast. You're not even looking. You're on your phone. You're texting. You're doing whatever. You're with your friends. You're talking. Most of the people probably weren't listening, especially from all the way back where like these camera footages are.
Sure.
Right. And then something goes off and everyone starts panicking. Who the heck is going to be a reliable witness as to like who the right person? Who the
there were people who had videos of this guy on the roof.
Beforehand was crazy.
But why?
And welcome you. Yeah, that should be illegal.
What should be illegal?
It should be illegal to take a video of someone that is about to commit a crime, commits the crime, but you don't submit that. Like you don't give that tip.
Interesting.
I don't know if I actually think it should be illegal. I don't know. I didn't think it all the way through. Like with potential consequences on both ends.
They say something. A guy goes on a roof in the middle of a
and like he's in a sniping position, dude. He's like on his stomach. Like,
how do you not scream something like, "Hey, there's a guy on the roof"?
Yeah, I think that people are afraid to say things and draw attention to themselves.
Do you? Because I saw a guy who was celebrating immediately after he got shot at
Well,
the
that
rally.
was I saw that guy too. I think that one guy is an extreme case, and I think that the average like even myself, when I was in Israel for the year, I was on a bus and someone left a bag on the bus, and I will racial stereotype because it was an Arab that like on like a all Jewish bus, left a bag and walked off. And then came back like a second later, realized I forgot the bag and got it, right? But in that like
you were scared.
5 seconds in between, I was genuinely scared, and I also did absolutely nothing.
Right.
Like I didn't go to the bus driver. I didn't like say, "Hey, what's going on?" I didn't like make a big deal. But like, if you see like the notion of like see something, say something doesn't really exist because we're all in our heads about like not wanting to look like idiots, around with everyone around us.
Yeah, better to look like an idiot though and be wrong.
I know, dude. Yeah, it's easy to say.
I hope that God forbid I'm never in that situation, but
Yeah.
I hope that if I am ever in that situation, I have the knowledge or the insight to actually do something that maybe I'll be embarrassed, and like I'm wrong, but at
like
least I
on the
said
off
something.
chance, exactly
Right.
right. And like Israel's way better about that culturally than we are
Why?
because they need to.
No. What makes you
About
say
like
that?
because every like if you go to Ben Gurion Airport, you're by Tel Aviv. Every couple of days, there's some kind of bomb scare, like someone saying something about something going on, or the bomb squad sent there, and it's not because there's a bomb every couple of days.
You're talking about the civilians, or you're talking about the people that work in the airports?
I'm talking about the bombs, the security for the airport will identify a bag and shut down portions of the airport until it's figured out on a very frequent basis.
Yeah.
Right, and part of the reason why is I would imagine is because that part of that culture is to actually like be wary and say something.
Like they're on high alert.
They're on high alert all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're not on high alert all the time because because we're freaking 5,000 miles away from all our enemies.
We're comfortable, but now this is what I've been thinking about. Like, what happens from here? Like, does it have to hit a point of like rock bottom before people start to change? Like, what's it going to take
in
for
America
things to change? Yeah.
Yeah.
We just saw the chick get stabbed on the bus.
Dude.
And no one did anything. Like, and these are happening in such
I saw
short amount of time.
You saw the video of her reaction to it happening?
I don't watch these videos.
I don't watch them either. I watched the video
and then I stopped. Like,
but
she
can you
covered her mouth.
I know, dude. Can you imagine? You just mind your own business, and then all of a sudden, like you just realize, oh shit, like I'm just dead.
You get stabbed in the jugular,
and then you're just like, she's like, oh, and then like she's kind of like put her head between her arms and just like fell, and I'm like, and like she knew what was happening.
Oh God.
Yeah, dude. You know what? The way that I hope that it's not going to happen, but what I fear is like, and this is completely baseless, just like what I feel like with my pulse on like the emotional feel of society. I feel like all this stuff feels like it's trying to invoke a reaction. Like this is happening it feels like this is happening a lot, not exclusively, but very frequently to obviously people more on the quote unquote conservative spectrum, whether you call that religious or white, which is so funny because white doesn't even have to be conservative, but like they're just like white has just become people that are white have just become so antithetical to people on the left that they're almost grouped that way by default. Like they're almost like pushed into that side. Villains. Yeah, they're villainized to the point where like you just make that assumption because the villainization's been going on for over a decade now.
Right. You want to talk about racial profiling or stereotyping?
Yeah, dude.
It's the exact opposite. It's like, oh, because you're white, you must be conservative. You must have some sort of
if you're white in good shape and like you wear like regular clothes, and you have to be and straight. You have to be conservative. And you're like, what are you talking about? And you're pushed into they're pushed into that camp, right? Like a lot of the people probably wouldn't even put themselves in that camp unless they were pushed into or forced into it by.
That's true. Yeah, they are getting pushed into that camp. Iguana peed in the pool.
Is that what happened?
I don't know. Could have been.
Dude,
they dropped a deuce in your pool.
You kidding me? What is that?
That's for sure what's happening right now.
What is happening, dude? That can't be right, dude. Is that an iguana up there?
They're for sure dropping a deuce in your pool.
No, they're not, man.
Yeah, they are.
Keep talking for a minute.
So Fran right now is checking out his pool. He's just noticing right now that iguanas are peeing and pooping in his pool from a tree overhead. Look, dude, there's the tail. Right there.
Oh my God, hey! What the fuck?
Hilarious.
Get out of there! The pool's on the back there. You see he's hanging over the pool, dude.
He doesn't care. Also,
why would you
he's aiming for the pool. He's aiming for your pool. He could have easily gone a foot over and hit the grass.
Jesus Christ, man.
Now I don't feel as bad when I peed in your pool.
Wow.
At least they didn't drop a deuce.
Yeah, dude. Well, the truth is, Ron and I started watching the pool guy when he comes on Monday to clean, and like he just takes like what looks like bleach and just dumps a container in and just like mixes it and walks away. And I'm like,
That's it.
That's what you're doing?
Yeah, that's it.
He cleans the filter too.
Is it David?
Yeah.
Still?
Everyone I know fired him except for me.
Kiwi fired him?
No, Kiwi's lazy. Kiwi doesn't want to get another guy, but everyone else I know fired him.
Well, to be fair, your pool doesn't look so bad. Besides for all the leaves, it
looks great.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with my new guy.
So I feel I was actually talking to my students about this, and I was saying that.
Wait, can I cut you off for a second?
Sure, dude.
Your students, they know Charlie Kirk. Like, do they see him? Do they listen to
Some
him?
do. Some just heard his name and then heard he got killed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they would a bunch of them asked me to like see the video. I'm like, dude, I'm not showing a 15-year-old the video of a young dad getting killed live. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I didn't even watch the video. I saw the video from like aerial.
Yeah.
And then I saw a screenshot. Someone sent me a screenshot of literally
the shot. Yeah.
In his neck. And I'm like, there's no way that he's surviving. You said it nicked. I think. Was it you or maybe Pacey who said
Pacey said nicked, but it was.
And then I saw the screenshot. I'm like, that's not a nick.
No, but it hit it didn't go through his neck. It like hit like the side.
It looked like a hole.
Yeah, I didn't look that close, dude. And I didn't get any screenshots, thank God, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you were saying so your kids wanted to see it.
I said no, but I also said that, and this is actually, I'm starting to kind of believe that, and maybe I don't even know what I think I believe that this is the case, that it almost feels like it's not just an attack. There's not just an attack on the West. There's an attack on relationships and family values and life, essentially, right? And like the trans shooter the other week that shot up the Christian school.
Can I take a step further? I think it's more. It's an attack on speech. You killed a guy because of what he said. He didn't go ahead. He might have spoken about being pro-life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he never went ahead and forced anyone to carry out a pregnancy.
Yeah.
Right? So he's just talking
he's
about
never
ideas.
Actor. He's not an actor, right?
He's talking about ideas that people disagree with.
Yeah.
And hopefully making a difference. But still, it's from his ideas. And I think it's worthwhile mentioning, I saw this guy, this rabbi on Fox News. Did you see him? I will in a second.
Take your time, yeah.
I don't remember his name, but dude, it was such a good parallel. He's like, Charlie Kirk was the Avram Avinu of our time. Did you hear this?
No, it was very funny.
It's a great line.
He'd go.
Avram Avinu was the only. Everyone is throwing their kids into volcanoes, sacrificing their children in a time where idolatry is everywhere. And Avram's the only one. Avram's the only one who's talking, and you know what he does? He says, "Come into my tent.
Yeah,
come in. Let's have a conversation." People leave the tent, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? That was a good discussion."
Wow.
And Charlie Kirk is the guy who will set up shop with a literal tent. Say, "Hey, let's have a discussion about this," and change people's minds that way.
Yeah. God saved Abraham, though.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's heartbreaking. I hope that this actually causes a step in the right direction, because the response could have been like blind rage that like would have led to like catastrophe. Like what I showed actually both my students the movies, the Joker with the Batman, where the Joker, like, he didn't want to like hurt the Batman. He wanted Batman to abandon his values. Like that's what he like that's what his goal was. His goal was to get Batman to like break his one rule, and to like believe that society and like
which Batman is this?
This is a famous one.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, Dark Knight. Heath Ledger, and with the interrogation scene. Right when Joker tells Batman, not that way, but the one that leads to that, right? So where he has to either choose between Denton, whatever his name is, and the girl, and he's like, "You're gonna have to commit murder one way or the other, because you're going to choose one life over the other. Right. So now, Batman, you're a murderer, right? And I'm going to force you to abandon. I'm going to push you to the point that you abandon your values. Right.
So good.
I
love that you showed that to your students.
I did, dude. And then I showed them the scene from the new Spider-Man movie, the one with the three, like with Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and the scene at the end where he's fighting Andrew Garfield. Not to leave him out.
Shout out.
You're the man, dude. And you look remarkably young for a man in like your mid-40s.
Is he in his mid-40s?
Something like, dude, he was Spider-Man like 25 years ago.
No, not that long ago.
15
Tobey
years ago.
Maguire
15
was
years ago.
huge.
Spider-Man's like, Tobey Maguire's like 65, dude.
Yeah, and he looks old.
Tobey Maguire looked like a pedophile in the first Spider-Man movies, dude. Sorry, man.
Somehow looked 30 as Spider-Man.
Yeah, dude. Like Peter Parker's like in high school hitting on like a 14-year-old, dude. What is going on? But
What was the scene that you showed?
the scene that I showed them was at the end when the Green Goblin also wanted Tom Holland to kill him, right?
Yeah.
And Tom Holland is
Yeah.
going nuts. And what I loved about that scene in particular was that you can see in his body language and his face that he lost control. Like he's not being himself.
You see his veins, I think.
Yeah.
You think it? I think I remember.
You see in his eyes.
Or his head. I remember, but I
He
remember.
also had a couple of blood streaks just from like fighting.
Oh, well, that was makeup.
Well, yeah.
But his acting was the thing that brought out the.
And then his face, and you see in his face, and there's a moment in his face where you could see that he's deciding that he's going to do this. Like he's deciding he's going to kill Green Goblin. He's going to become a murderer, right? And like he's going to abandon that like neighborhood Spider-Man value. And like and he puts his arm up and he's about to do it, and Tobey Maguire stops him. And Tobey Maguire's face, like his eyes just say like,
Right.
"What are you doing? Like breathe, stop for you don't want to become this."
Right.
And it feels like all this violence and all this canceling and all this like hurt is like trying to get people to abandon their values. And I feel that way even about the people that carry out the crimes. Like like the trans shooter.
Like it's an intentional.
The trans shooter. I read like his like the part of the video that was up was like his notebook, and there's like a 4-page manifesto. If you actually read the manifesto, he sounds sick, lost, scared, and sad. Like he doesn't sound like a hateful villain that wants like nothing more than to like turn society on its head and like an evil plot to like be like a villain. Like he's like, I don't even know why I'm so angry. I don't even know how like what's going on. And I know that like I'm getting poisoned from like all around me, and like and it's just been building up for so long, and like I don't know. And I just have to like go. And before I go, I have to like I have this anger. I have to acknowledge this anger. I have to like do something about it. And like, dude, to live in that guy's head for the last X amount of years, that he's probably experiencing this. And I was also thinking, do we have a legitimate loneliness epidemic? Do you ever listen to Scott Galloway talk about it? Or Diary of a CEO?
Only clips of it, but yeah, I love both of them. Diary of a CEO I listen to more, but I mean, I don't care if I get canceled for this, but transgenderism was a mental illness up until whatever, like a couple of years ago, and then it became an acceptable thing and a thing that was celebrated and encouraged, and now you see it all the time, where people who are transgender are when they transition, it doesn't make them happier. They're still missing that void.
Yeah.
So, and then they have to, I guess, express it in some other way. And then you have people talking about it, like Charlie Kirk, and you just keep talking about it, saying, "Hey, this is an illness. Like we have to get."
Did you see the way he spoke to the student about it? There was a video clip where he was talking to a student, and he was like, "Listen, I want you to feel comfortable in your body and in your skin." He's like, what I'm asking of you, he's like, what you're about to do is about to be a decision that you can't go back on.
Right, give some context.
Sorry, this trans student, apparently he's having debate with this trans student.
This is at a college campus?
Yeah, on a college campus.
Okay.
And she's talking to him, and he asks her, "Do you mind if I hear your story?" And she says, "Well, I haven't felt comfortable in my body since like 3rd grade, and like I always knew, like and he's like, and were you like, I forgot, I don't want to like fill in the lines because I don't remember the exact conversation, but what he said at the end was, the premise of what he was saying was, you have a lot of different potential sources of why you feel this way, and the route that you're taking is going to have a permanent consequence where the other routes don't necessarily have to yet.
Right.
So before you start making decisions that you can't go back from, start with decisions that you could go back with, and that you could feel out, and that you could say, hey, maybe this works, maybe it doesn't work. But like before, like, and and like the example hypothetically could be like, before you get a tattoo, put one of those kid ones on, for a couple of days, see how you like it, and then decide, oh, I want this for the rest of my life or not, and like you can always change your mind if with one of those like kiddie things, and you can, turn it on. No,
I haven't heard him say that, but that's so good.
Mm-hmm. And
maybe take medication and see how you feel. Do you still, dude? Zach,
a lot of them are medicated.
My 3-year-old son, I can't tell how many times he's told me something about wearing nail polish, being a girl. I'm like, you're a boy, dude. Like, And then he gets excited.
Yeah.
I'm a boy, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, and you're strong, and you're fast, and you're mean, and you're aggressive, and he's like, and he gets pumped up, and he goes, but let me climb on your neck. I'm like, yeah, like,
but he
climb on my
also
neck.
has an older sister and a mom as having an influence that he's appealing to also.
But
You know.
but if I were to encourage him and say, hey,
Yeah.
hey, honey,
Yeah. Something else.
Do you really feel that way? You think I'm going to take it seriously as a 3-year-old kid? But it obviously could cause a lot of damage if I did.
Yeah.
I could either build this kid up and make him into the man that he's supposed to be, or I could really confuse the.
Right, and part of what we say is a parent's job is that the kid doesn't know what they're experiencing. No, we don't know what we're experiencing most of our lives, and our brains are developed. You know, most of the time we have a hard enough time trying to come to terms with like what our lives are, work, and like
Right.
balancing like life and being a good husband and being a dad and being present and being part of the community, doing whatever you're going to do and all your responsibilities. And you're like, whoa, like how do I sort that? Imagine your brain, like imagine being 5, like. You can't work this stuff out, you know.
Right.
Like you
It's
need.
just like you saw someone in your class that had nail polish, and you're like,
And so, yeah, that's
my
cool.
sister wears nail polish. Like, why can't I wear nail polish? Right? And then
Yeah.
you come
And
home,
then you have a
"Ah, but can I wear nail polish?
Yeah,
You're
and you
like,
have a conversation. And you have a conversation. Seriously, I mean, I hear. Yeah. So, dude, wait. Do you want to? I want to. Yeah, I want to finish this idea first.
Yeah.
I think that. So I think that this is an attempt to get people to betray themselves and their values.
What's this? Like the people doing these shootings and these horrific things?
Yeah,
You think
dude.
it's intentional? That guy?
No, I don't. I don't
I
think.
don't know, man. I'm not convinced that these people are thinking. That guy in the bus is a deranged.
I agree with you, but I don't. They're not thinking. I don't think.
And by the way, this is happening again. This is where I think you and I might disagree on, like
Yeah.
the board stuff. We're talking about me being on the board. I think a lot of this happens from top down.
Yeah.
This guy who stabbed the girl on the bus, he's been in prison 14 times. At a certain point, you just say
That's the judge's fault, and the judge
exactly.
and
But who the judge is at the top? Who
Yeah.
elects? Who puts the judges into power? I think it's people. People unfortunately do have influence when they're on the board or they're elected representatives. And like it or not, I think that's
well, yeah. Mike Benz also goes pretty deep into not to the level that it's like 1-to-1 ratio of like craziness, but what he pulls up a lot, and you should check out his stuff. I'll send some of his stuff to you. It's amazing. Is, for example, the way that like how does a college become a premier college?
premier.
Yeah,
like an Ivy
top
League style.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do they do that? They generally get a lot of funding, and with that funding and with those grants, they're able to attract a lot of people that are doing research and people that are doing high quality research because you have more opportunity.
You pay them more.
And they end up attracting, you know. And then even if there isn't, for example, unlimited money, all you need is a couple of people to create this reputation of you guys being a great university for everyone to want to join, regardless of how much money you're actually allocated or making, right? Meaning, at a certain point, for example, students are willing to go into debt to go to MIT.
Right.
How come they're not willing to go into debt to go to Binghamton, hypothetically, right? You're like, well, because your return you expect in MIT is going to be greater. You're having exposure to, right. Okay. So all you have to do is get the first couple of people. So he goes, Columbia, for example, their journalism school is apparently top of the country.
Okay.
Like they get like X amount of proportionate funds from the government relative to the other colleges that are much higher. And so the potential influence that you have on your graduates that are journalists is going to be enormous because your
potential influence
that the college and the government in association with one another.
Oh, because the government is like, I'm
is
giving
funding
you
it.
$10 million. You better teach.
The whole fight with Trump and Harvard is about the fact he's like, why are we paying for these kinds of studies and work to be done? The government, the taxpayers, should not be paying for these kind of things. And the college have been saying, well, actually, the way we became Harvard is by you giving us this money.
Right.
So you want and that's you want you want all American institutions to collapse. You're gonna really take Harvard away from everyone. You're gonna take the Harvard like that everyone wants and like for what for like this stupid DEI thing DEI.
Yeah, you should take it away. I think.
Well, of course, but the point is that it's not there's an argument to be made there's a lot of pushback that could happen, right? And at
It's
the
a
end of the day,
business.
Trump is cutting a lot of money.
But it's a business, and it's run like a business.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
And I guess business can get grants.
But my point is that it is top down too, like what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like there are political influences on the on if you're going to try to be a judge in Wisconsin and you're applying and you went to Harvard or Columbia or NYU, and then you went to a local Wisconsin college, who's getting the job to be the judge?
Right, because the diploma means more.
From those places,
Yeah.
right? But from those places, you're also getting X, Y, and Z influence
Right.
and associations, right? So these judges that are letting these criminals go after 10, 11, 12, 13 arrests, they're the ones that obviously have to answer to this. But it's still a systematic failure that could be acknowledged.
Judges need to answer.
Yeah, the judges should answer to it. A judge that lets a criminal go more than 3 times, and then the guy commits a violent act. I mean, you have a halacha like that. You have Torah like that. You have an ox that had that if your ox does X, Y, and Z, if it damages someone's property or hurts someone, and then you keep the ox, and then it does it again, and you keep the ox, and it kills someone,
Right.
You're responsible, dude.
Yeah.
And that's an animal. Forget about a judge with a human being.
Right. What a great comparison. No, it's a good comparison. But ultimately, it's not. It doesn't end with the judge. It ends higher. Who is that? Ketanji Brown Jackson. That was
Who's that?
on the Supreme Court.
I don't know
She
that
was
is.
recently added to the Supreme Court, maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And when they're added, they're grilled, right? And what did you think they grilled her on? What was the question? What is the question that conservatives ask? Ask
Israel?
No. What is a woman?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they grilled her on it. And this is a smart person, obviously, but like, it's like so fundamental that like, and she slipped up and she can't answer. She can't tell you what a woman is, and it's just like so telling that like, okay, you could be brilliant, but you could have it so
Twisted.
backwards.
Yeah, of course. You know why? Because knowledge and information is amoral. People are moral or not, So like you can have all this information and you can have all this knowledge, and the way that you apply it could be the totally misconstrued or wrong way, the totally immoral way.
Right.
And that's why like humanities, like history, is so subjective. Yeah.
Why do you think? Not to make this into a sheer, but I'm curious what your thoughts are and why Torah is information, halacha is information, right?
Yeah.
Jewish law. So why is it that we can say that we're moral?
By the way,
we're just following a law.
We don't say that. We say that actually Torah is quote unquote sam lachayim sam lamavet. It could either be an elixir for life or a poison, And
so what's the?
And it's the way that you apply it, right? There was I forgot who it was, and we could like look it up
Jamie.
Or another time.
Jamie.
ask anyone.
When are you gonna add Jamie to the budget?
Dude, I need a budget first. When I get a budget, I'll add him. But what I'm actually thinking of doing, Rachel told me that was your idea, that to start task rabbiting, or what's the Upwork? For my social media, for the podcast.
To do
shorts, reels, clips, like get some traction.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And she's like, you could, and yeah, whatever. Anyway, so information itself is amoral. Oh yes, we had a story about this king of Israel that we say brought back laws that we forgot since the time that Moshe died. And he used that information to convince Bnei Yisrael or the people of Israel to build another golden calf in the actual Beis HaMikdash.
What?
Yeah, that actually happened.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Get out of here.
And well, look it up.
What's this called?
I have to look up the guy's name. But the point is that the level of knowledge that you have has no association with whether or not you're a moral person or not.
Yeah, there's no. I'm going to look this up right now because.
Okay, I'll find it for you. I'll find it after I send it to you, and then
so interesting.
I'll post it.
But then what is?
Right. So the question is, what is it? Like, right.
By the way, saying neshama, but like what?
A soul, right?
Soul.
So, by the way, and you even have this from the beginning of the Torah, where you have Avram Avinu, you have Abraham, and Melchizedek comes to him after the king after the war with the 5 kings. It was like the first world war at the time. And Avram participated.
Would you call that a world war?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It was the entire. I mean, it was basically an alliance between the 10 greatest nations.
The 5 kings were the only kings in the world, you think?
Well, no, but I think most of the world at that time was generally, or most of their world in that time at least, was generally located around the Middle East and Africa. Um, and society was placed around geographic locations that could support life, like the Nile River.
Right.
So like people would flock to places that that could support themselves and their families, right? So I'm sure that there weren't that many different places for people to really like you have scattered societies and nomads and stuff like that, but like as far as like cities go, there's not. I mean, you'd have to have a place that's big enough for everyone to be able to kind of
Fine.
like live on that. Yeah.
Developed societies. So Avram goes to war.
So he goes to war, and there's a guy that's Melchizedek is his name, and Rashi, the most famous commentator, says that he was really Shem Noach's son, and he had a yeshiva or a seminary or a school called Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever,
Right.
and they actually studied the original Torah, whatever, or like some variation of Torah, right?
Right.
And he and Avram had this face off, and the Medrash talks about. And the oral law talks about this face-off that they have, where they're both intimidated by each other because Melchizedek is like this establishment that like is the premise for like the divine word on earth, right? And Avram is like this new guy that's like this young guy that's running around trying to like spread this new philosophy, and he's trying to work it out, and he's debating like Charlie Kirking it,
Yeah.
and they finally come and they meet, and they're both, on one hand, you have one path, which is figuring it out, like looking forward into the future and trying to figure out where you're going to go and trying to use the word of God to identify how to explore and make the most of the future. And then you have the institution that is deeply rooted in the past that is there to support it. That's there to support the foundation of it,
Okay.
right?
So you have these two
pillars, right? You have
schools of thought, really.
Exactly.
That
Right.
they're clashing.
And that's why you have like every society has like like these like elders that are like the foundations and the principles of like these societies, and they have the wisdom and the knowledge, and they have the experience of we've already seen people behave like this and do this. And then you have the youth that are constantly pushing the boundaries and trying to adventure and figure out, is it okay to go here? And they say no. Why is it not okay? How do you get there? And there's always a tension between the two.
Right.
And that's really, by the way, the tension between like liberalism and conservatism is generally like
how far to push that boundary.
Exactly, how far to push that boundary. And conservatism has a very clear. Jordan Peterson loves to talk about this. It's like you have a clear boundary with conservatism. Like
Right.
Nazis. Like anyone but as soon as you're like whites and whites only.
White.
Then you got a problem.
Right.
And like
that's true.
But like with liberalism, like what we have lines and they keep on getting pushed, and it's not even that these lines shouldn't get pushed, but we shouldn't give in every single time. Not every boundary needs to be pushed, and not every boundary should be pushed. And that's when you have like people pulling you in. So I don't really know. That is a very long answer to get to the point that I don't know what is like objectively always going to be the right. Like there is no way to really know what's always going to be the objectively right thing to do. Like I don't think there's always a clear right choice. This is what the right thing to do is, and this is not.
But at the very least, I think you need some sort of like a rule book.
For sure. When that's you have
and maybe that's where I think the liberals lack. They don't have that like rule book. It's all like.
And the rule book kind of imploded
like
when it became about peace and love, and then it's about you're not tolerant of our peace and love, so we're not tolerant of you. That rule book kind of implodes.
Right.
Like how are you going to do that? Like, how are you going to justify killing Charlie Kirk in the name of peace and love, in the name of tolerance?
Yeah, it's the same people that demand what do you call it? Sensitivities.
Yeah.
Or the same people going ahead and executing.
Yeah. And actually, I heard this take, and I've been thinking a lot about it too, along the same line of trying to get people to break their values, is that Eric Weinstein was talking about October 7th.
I don't know who that is.
He's awesome. I'll send you some stuff about him. There's two brothers, Brett and Eric Weinstein. Brett's a little bit more conspiratorial.
They're podcasters?
They're both Brett is an evolutionary biologist, and Eric is a mathematician and a physicist that spent like a career on Wall Street, and then like kind of got into academia
Whoa.
and into like theoretical physics and all this crazy
Impressive
stuff.
dudes,
Yeah,
basically.
they both very impressive, both brilliant people, both also proud Jews, and one of the things that they were talking about, one of the things that he was saying was like, what do you think that like Hamas is trying to accomplish, right? Like the line that like they're trying to like destroy Israel. Maybe they want to, but for all practical purposes, it's not happening, right? Like Israel has the U.S. backing it. They've got technology that's worlds better. Hamas is building like these rockets out of like,
Right.
like pipes on the floor and a shower head, and trying to
Right.
like shoot it to Tel Aviv. Like great, I mean,
Right.
what are you
They're
gonna do?
living in like
Right. So what's your plan October 7th? Like
Right.
what you must have a game plan.
Okay.
So his theory, and I think that
I'll tell you the answer. I don't care about his theory, but I'll tell you the answer.
so his theory
Yeah.
is they knew they're not going to win a physical war, so they
Okay.
could turn the entire world against Israel by evoking the most emotional reaction
Oh
out of
yeah.
the Israelis. And just like that little kid, just like like a younger brother that pisses off the big brother until he beats the crap out of him, and the parent comes and goes,
Mhm.
"What the heck are you doing?" You're
Right.
like, "You don't get it. He really pissed me off." You're like, "Yeah, but look what you're doing to him, and you're bigger than him, and you should know better." That is, I mean, literally. Tell me that exact conversation has not been happening around the globe for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, but there's a difference between murdering and raping someone than pummeling a kid. It's not,
Of course, but
like
and
imagine the kid, the little brother. Let's say, just to use a fair comparison, little brother took a knife and chopped off a hand. So he didn't kill him, but it just chopped off his left hand.
and then you kill him
That's cause for
for what?
not destroying him,
Okay, right.
definitely beating the shit out of him.
Okay, right. So again, and then but the point remains the same, which is there are now varying degrees of appropriate response, and the chances are that you're going to overreact is relatively high, extremely high, actually.
Okay.
Right. The point
Wait,
is all the same,
what if that same little kid says, "I'm making it my life's mission to kill you"?
and you'd be like, I can't take you. I don't take you seriously because you're a stupid little kid, and I can just step on you every single
But
time that
the
you do
kid's
anything.
growing. The kid grows.
The kid's not growing.
Come on, dude.
Dude, Israel controls
You don't
the
think that
food,
you?
power, water source. Like I don't think that Hamas or anyone in Gaza ever seriously had a.
I'm thinking more like that ideological kid.
I'm
That ideological kid is growing.
even so. There's a limit to how far ideology gets you in
It's
that kind of
here.
world.
It's here. It's in
Where is it?
America.
Okay, well that's another conversation, and the way that it's going to manifest is going to be very different, right? Because the way that it's manifesting in America is a much more slow burn, slow trickle, where you start to have institutions not responding to crime. And then you start to have universities supporting it, and then you start
Yeah.
to have educate. But we're not having. But the scale that's happening,
Yeah.
and then you start implementing,
That
putting people
war,
in.
quote unquote, needs to happen.
That war needs to right.
It needs to transition from that war of aggression and missiles to probably a different type. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's so interesting. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's a great point, though. What I'm saying was that's a legitimate war but that is happening over the like the implementation. The you got the judges, the universities, the schools, the political system, whatever it is. Then you have even the freaking Fed. I mean, like even just our national deficit. Like the people like the
Right.
fact that anyone refuses to just say like it's not a rational conversation to say we have to stop spending. It's an emotional conversation because there is no reason to assume that we could just keep on spending the way we are. No one could ever say this is why it's a good idea.
That does sound rational. You said it's emotional?
No, it's an emotional choice to keep on spending the deficit the way that we are.
Oh, because it's irrational.
It's irrational to do
Okay.
that. Yeah, it's irrational to behave the way that we're acting in almost every capacity, right? And then you get 10 million illegal immigrants move into our country.
Oh yeah.
And then crime, and then if and when hypothetically crime were to spike, or enough incidents were to happen to cause the nation to start to attack itself, that's an attack. That's a war, right? Like this is like you're seeing a 50-year strategy being implemented all at one time, hypothetically.
So I want to bring this back to being on a board.
Yeah.
So you don't see the value of like being in a position where like, hey, maybe we should instead focus on some other things right now. Like, why are we not? Why are we spending so? Why are we getting involved in so many things? Why are we like allowing so much corruption to happen? You don't think that there's a value in being in those
I know, but I don't
conversations?
think that. Yeah, I don't think that having a board changes anything.
Really?
Yeah, the same way that I don't think having a government to change anything either. Literally, the last 15 years, you kept going back and forth, Democrat, Republican, and it's the same consequences.
Because there's so many bad people going into it.
Potentially, for sure. By the way, and then the good ones like Charlie Kirk and MLK, you just get shot down. Can't get too good, dude.
Shit, dude. That's so dark. My God, you're right.
I know, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a shame.
They just get it's like a movie.
That's why you got to do podcasts and hide out, man.
We're living in a movie. That's so crazy,
dude. Everything has been feeling like a movie, dude.
Joe Rogan keeps saying he'll like sprinkle it in that we're in a simulation, and I don't understand it. But slowly, like at first, I didn't understand it. I should say.
It makes so much sense now,
But
right?
slowly, the more I keep hearing it, I'm like, whoa, that's wait.
But there's not even any. It's so funny because all these ideas, and I've been thinking about this also. We compartmentalize so much in our lives. Like we have our like religious beliefs, that there's God and there's malachim or angels or whatever, and you have like whatever, and then there's like UFOs and aliens and like that's something else, and like, but like the stories and the evidence and like the things that are happening, like the simulation theory, like why is simulation so different than saying God? Like why is like
Right.
like why is like saying that any different than saying there's a great creator that programmed into our system, into our world, a universe which has laws and rules, and then can be periodically broken, or these chance experiences that are like lucky fortune seem to happen that are like God's intervention into things.
Right.
Like that. Why is that sounds like religion and simulation at the same time. Or alien. Like I don't know if I was talking to you about this, but like aliens in the field. And like every story in Navi, every story in the prophets was like these women that are barren, and then all of a sudden like they're in a field praying to God by themselves, and then an angel from God comes down, tells them they're going to have a baby, and then 9 months later they give birth. And you're like, dude, that's not like we're saying different words, but like the concepts are exactly the same ideas.
Wow. Yeah, Joe Rogan is willing to buy that aliens drop down into a field and like
knock someone up. Yeah.
But he's not willing to make that same jump for like an angel meeting someone or a Navi.
Right. And why is that? Right. But by the way, because of the religious association, probably, or dogma, or yeah. Like you don't want to like, oh, I believe in like the Bible, because there's such a strong pushback to that.
There's a connotation to it too.
It's an emotional
you're a religious person.
Yeah, that makes you stupid.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, you're religious. Forget about it, man.
Now it's like, oh, you're into conspiracies. Oh, so you're open-minded. You're like, you might have some faith in you.
Yeah. And what's interesting? The reason why I think people take advantage of that is because just like with conspiracies and just like with God, especially if you're particularly creationist, as in like if you particularly believe that like we don't have free will and God is just making everything happen, then like nothing is off the table for how crazy anything could get. Right? Like generally speaking, the reason why, like if you say like, for example, like this was a great example. Apparently there's an idea that the Chafetz Chaim maybe someone said a couple hundred years ago, like the 1800s, that the final wars of before Mashiach, before the redemption, before whatever, the anointed one comes, Messiah is going to be 12 minutes long. That's the final war, and everyone's like, that we don't know what that means.
Right, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense. And then that woman that was going around on the podcast circuit, I forgot, wrote this book about what nuclear war looks like. It's 6 minutes from Russia or China to America with a nuke. So if you're going to talk, 300 years ago,
right,
we're talking about a concept that at the time felt creationist, right? Like, oh, what does that mean? So God's going to come and like blow up the war in 12 minutes, world in 12 minutes? You're like, I don't know. But then also fast forward 200 years and we have nuclear technology, or we have nukes and bombs and ballistic missiles that literally could end the world in 12 minutes, and you're like, oh man, like,
it's like Izzy likes to say the line of like, we're gonna travel back on the wings of eagles.
Yeah.
And it's like, does that not
travel back where? Oh, an airplane.
Does that look like an airplane?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, the Yemenites all thought that. Operation Magic Carpet. Everyone thought that the airplane was this happened all over the Middle East and Africa, the particularly poor countries, when they had all these big aliyahs, in the last like 50, 60, 70 years. A lot of these third world countries legitimately thought that this was like
Right.
Messiah.
Well, maybe it was a
They,
start.
yeah, they got Bibi instead. You thought you got a Messiah, you ended with Bibi Netanyahu, dude. So funny. Tell me about this meditation, dude. This not meditation. This
You're gonna get wet. It was, I guess it was a meditation. It was a retreat.
a retreat. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Retreat I went on.
Yeah, tell me about it,
Maybe I
dude.
could give you some backstory first.
Yeah, I would love some.
I've never heard of him, but Izzy for my birthday said I would enjoy, I would enjoy this retreat. So
Okay.
he bought me this tickets to this thing months ago, and I have never heard of him. And even after she bought it, I never looked into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going in with no, I didn't even know what the guy looked like.
What did it look like?
Small,
Is he
Hasidic
old?
Australian,
Australian?
Nice. Mid-50s.
Nice.
Who is, his backstory is like he's a Baal Tshuva, grew up in, was it? Yeah, he grew up in Australia. Wanted to get into film,
Cool.
and then basically got into Aish, but was like 24 years old and was already like trying to make movies.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really into like production, being professional, having good music. He's really into that. Anyway, so Rav Marmer texted me that he was spending a Shabbos at like Rav Marmer's community, and
Yeah.
Rav Marmer said, "Do you want to come?"
Oh, that's how you ended up there? You were there for the weekend?
I was there for
And
Shabbos,
then you came, and you went Sunday.
and then I went on his retreat on
Oh,
Sunday.
so you had a lot of exposure to this dude.
Yeah, so I'm like hearing him speak Friday night, and then I'm watching, and then
How do you speak?
Very well, very entertaining. He's like an entertaining.
Got it.
He's an entertainer. Like he was into acting, screenwriting, directing,
Gotcha.
whatever. They got him into Aish because they said if we could get you a meeting with Steven Spielberg's if you stay here for two weeks.
No way.
Would you? And I don't remember what he said, like if they got him the meeting, but I think that convinced him to stay, and then he just wanted to stay longer.
Yeah.
So
That checks out.
dude, this guy was so. Anyways, so that was my first exposure to him, was the Shabbos, and then on Sunday it was a full day retreat from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And at this retreat, you go in and you're expecting like, okay, is this going to be like a weird like breathwork type of situation where I'm just going to listen to this guy and get like into a trance or something? But really, he keeps it light and entertaining. He knows that people are there and are uncomfortable, so he's like cracking jokes all the time. But then he guides you through these meditations that are rooted in, let's say, Kabbalah or Hasidic sources.
Yeah.
These were people who are, what would you say, 150 years ago? They were like...
More?
Yeah. When was the Ben Ish Chai, for example? Because he was like quoting Ben Ish Chai, Baal Shem Tov.
Yeah,
More than 150?
Yeah, 150, 200 years ago. But I mean, I think the sources for meditation it goes even further back than that.
Oh yeah, probably. But like these are like sources he's bringing down. He's saying like these people who go out to the field and what they're writing is like they could stay there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So if 150 years ago they could stay there for 3 hours, maybe today we could stay there for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
To get into that state for a couple minutes. So that's like his goal, right? This whole day, his goal is to get you to like a fraction of what they claim to have felt or have gone through.
Okay.
And I think he does a pretty good job of making you feel like you got a feeling of that meditative state, of the light that they're able to see.
Cool.
And it's very...
How did he get you into that state?
Oh, man. That's going to be a hard part. That's going to be a hard thing to articulate.
Well, we'll work on it together. I think we could do it, dude.
He'll say, for example, what is focus, right?
What state of mind are you in when you come in? Like, are you
skeptical? You're just going in. Me personally, I was open-minded and skeptical.
Yeah,
a little bit skeptical.
Like, we'll see what this guy's got to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is not stuff that is completely foreign to me. Like I've read, like my first year in Israel, I would read things, Hasidic masters, Ari Kaplan stuff.
Yeah.
And I would read, I'd be like, okay, I don't understand this, but it's kind of entertaining for the first 50 pages, and then you're like, okay, it's
doesn't make sense.
Not for me. Like it doesn't make sense, but I know that it exists, and like,
cool.
Right. So what is it? He's gonna tell you about the name of Hashem, right? Yud and K and Vav K. Yud K Vav K.
Name of God. Right.
And then he'll tell you about the name, what it represents, and then kind of like meditating on that name and the representation.
Thinking about, so for example, I think that name, should we go inside?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. I'm saying what I was going to say. We're live. And what I was going to say is that name of God, Yud Ke Vav Ke, Yud He Vav He, or Yahweh in English, is generally associated because the way that in Judaism at least, what to explain it?
To say the name?
Yeah,
I don't think you're supposed to pronounce it.
in English.
That's why you're not supposed to say the J witnesses.
Oh, interesting. I don't know.
Fine. Okay.
I'm not a fascist, man. Anyway, so the different names of God that we have are associated with different attributes or types of relationship that we're having with Him. So, for example, one personality trait would be like the strict or upset father at the way that you behave, as opposed to the kind mother that would like comfort you or help you in times of need. So, generally speaking, that name is associated with kindness. And I bet, what do you tell you to do about it? With it?
Okay. Do you want me to really get into the meditation thing?
Sure.
Okay, stop me if I'm like rambling too much. But so we know the concept that there's this infinite light. Okay.
Okay.
This or Ein Sof.
Okay.
That God is an infinite light and infinite goodness, right? So, and our neshama our soul is a piece of that light.
Right.
Okay.
So part of a big cosmic light.
Right. So we're supposed to feel our soul, right? And we're supposed to feel that light. So his meditation is guiding you on how to get there. The day or the goal of this is to help you try to feel something, to feel connected to some sort of inner light. And he'll teach you like there are focus techniques, right? And a focus technique would be like meditating on a word and the association with that word. So he started by saying, okay, there's a plastic cup. Let's see how long you could focus on a plastic cup before there's another thought that pops into your head. Mm-hmm. So everyone close your eyes, look at this plastic cup, get a good look at it, close your eyes, and then raise your hand once you stop focusing on the plastic cup. So on average, it was like 6 seconds. People would have a thought pop in.
Right.
So say, now, so we would go through this thing and teach us about focus and about das and dimyon, but I'm not going to get into that. Makes it relatable. He says, okay, now that you've got this skill, or now that you understand the background, I want you to focus on 5 things that have to do with, like, let's say self-respect. So he gave us notebooks. Write down 5 things that come into mind when you think self-respect.
What do you think about? I'm trying to think about what I even think of.
So he's giving you
cleanliness,
like
eloquence, education, self-respect, cleanliness, fitness, education, mental health, creativity, self-respect, and
pretty quick. So he gave us like a minute on 1, then a minute on 2, and then a minute on 3, then a minute on 4, and a minute on 5. Think about it. Yeah. Get into the zone, right? He's telling you. So you write these things out on a paper, and he says, now I want you to close your eyes. And when you have a thought, and think about the first thing. And when you have the thought that's coming into your head, just transition it into the second thing that you think that you associate self-respect with.
So give me an example. So
you said creativity, right?
Yeah.
Let's say creativity and working out or being fit. So whatever images come into your head when you're thinking creativity, close your eyes and think about that. Get into the zone of creativity. What do you associate that with? And then when the moment where you start to feel like I'm veering off of creativity, then shift into working out. And think about those things.
And stay in that zone where you're focusing on these things.
Right. And meanwhile, your das is on self-respect.
Right.
Okay.
Your consciousness.
Yes.
Your consciousness. That is your intentionality.
So his thing is higher consciousness.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal of this thing.
Yeah.
So your das is on self-respect. Your consciousness is on self-respect. And your dimyon, which is your imagination, is this encompassing circle around your das. And the items inside of dimyon are those moments.
Fascinating.
Is creativity. And so we did an exercise, and he said, okay, now using that quote unquote strategy, let's just call it a strategy.
Okay.
But this is all written out.
Strategy. Yeah.
This is all written out in Sparm that he's quoting first, and then he'll teach you about the thing, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, whoa. Dude.
Yeah.
Baal Shem was talking about this.
Yeah, dude.
And then he goes, okay, now I want you to close your eyes and let's see how long you can focus on self-respect. right? And you're comparing that to just 30 minutes ago, where you couldn't focus for 6 seconds on a cup. Now you're focusing on this much larger thing, which is self-respect, and you're meditating on that. And you know how long people asked it for? 7 minutes.
Wow.
7 minutes before the hand started going up.
Wow.
Now he's playing music.
Yeah, of course.
He's
helping get
guiding you.
Yeah,
he's talking to you, right? And that's an assist. That's a layup, right? But imagine doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Without technology, without being in a forest, without ever seen a TV or a screen, and put yourself back 200 years.
Yeah, dude.
You think that they couldn't focus for 2 hours?
For sure, dude. Sit in a field.
In the field, just their thoughts. They've never had these distractions before in their life.
Yeah, I would love it.
Come on.
I would love it, dude. Do you think you'd enjoy that?
I don't know. I definitely enjoyed this.
Yeah, but this was 9 a.m. to 10 p.m.
No, but
you go back to your life.
I enjoyed those moments, but he's like, I don't know if you've heard this before. It's very common to hear that back then they were able to focus on their davening for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And can I tell you a story that he said? It's amazing.
Sure.
You want to add in some things?
No, I want to hear. I want to hear the story.
Okay. So he's like, this story said about a rabbi. By the way, I just wanted to. This guy is not like this Buddhist guy who, by the way, studied Buddhism before this.
So he is.
But he's not sitting there like this. He's like cracking jokes the whole time. It's like, so he said
he's grounded.
Yeah, and he was talking about psychedelics the whole time. He's like, people get this feeling from psychedelics, and there's an urge for psychedelics nowadays because we're really craving this. And this is what ties back into what you said earlier about pushing those boundaries so that we stay connected. That's his pitch.
Yeah.
His pitch is like, we're going in this direction. We have it in our arsenal. Let's teach it.
And let's use it.
Yeah. Well, I really feel like a preacher of his.
Yeah, but you're doing a great job explaining what's happening right now.
So I'll tell you the story that he said over. It was like, well, okay.
You'll be happy you have this on the record, by the way. I think because I think that it's hard when first of all you got yourself in the zone by starting to talk for the first hour anyway, and then you're getting prompted by someone that knows the kind of questions that I want you to get out to make it as clear as possible.
Okay.
That I'm trying to assist you with this so that it'll be fun. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want you to chime in when you feel. So he says a story, and he's like, the story is set over, and insert your favorite rabbi, right? Your rabbi is the Rebbe. Okay. Your rabbi is Chaim. Okay. Just insert this story. I don't know who the rabbi was, but this is okay. So he's like, there's a Jew who's growing up, and he was not affiliated, but he was getting more religious, and he met this rabbi. Okay, whoever you have in your head. Now the guy says, "Hey, I want to get more religious," and the rabbi says, "Okay, cool. Let's teach you how to read Hebrew." So he's like, so they teach him how to read Hebrew, and he's like obviously struggling through it. He's learning a new language. Meanwhile, they go to davening every day, right? So while he's learning, he's seeing the rabbi daven for 3 hours, right? So the guy is continuing to see this day in, day out until he finally learns how to read better and better, and his tefillah becomes 10 minutes. Okay, so he goes to the rabbi, and he says, "Rabbi, like I understand that when I was first starting out, like I understood why your davening was 3 hours long because I was going through the words, you were going right, but now like you know how to read Hebrew, and you say this." I've been seeing you say this for a long time. Like, the words, obviously. So, like, he's like, what are you not getting? Like, it should be 10 minutes long, basically. So the rabbi says, what do you do? He's like, I work. What do you work? He's like, I sell shmatas. Okay. I'm a shmata salesman. Okay. Well.
Or bag towels.
Right. So he goes, where do you sell your shmatas? So he goes, can I continue using shmata?
Sure.
That's a great word. Well, I sell them in New York, New Jersey, and then Philly.
Philadelphia, yeah.
Right. Okay. Do you sell overseas? Yeah, sure. Where overseas? I sell them in Mexico. Okay. Where else? I sell them in Japan. Okay. So while the guy's saying this, he's writing down these names. Where does he sell the thing? Japan, Mexico, United States. Okay. So the guy goes, I hear, how long does it take you to travel? So he goes, on an airplane takes me, whatever, the whole day just to get there. Okay. So I'll tell you what, I'll shorten it for you. Take this paper.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what do you want me to do with this? He's like, there you go. I just saved you days.
Yeah. These are not.
He's saying, he's like, I these are places you have to go. Like, you can't just read the name and sell schmatas. So the rabbi goes, the words in the siddur aren't just words on paper. They're places you have to go.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I'm there for 3 hours. So it's like a mic drop moment.
That's like, a great answer,
dude. You're like, wow, like, I'm okay. All right. So let me try to see what that's about. Like, let me try to see and get in that zone. So imagine he opens with these stories and their teachings, and like,
you know what that reminds me of? I thought the story was going to go in a different direction. There's an awesome story. You know, the source of prayer in the Torah, the source of davening, is the beginning of Bereshis, of Genesis, when it's the second. Yeah, no, not even Adam yet. God didn't create Adam and Eve yet. It was basically the first chapter is this account of creation, the famous 7 days, the 6 days, whatever, 7 days, and then there's a new chapter that opens, and it begins with the story of creation again, but it tells it differently. And if you look at literally any Bible, it says this. Okay. And at one point, it says that there was no rain on the ground yet because man was not yet created to work. Right?
Right.
And to work the land.
Right.
And that same commentary we talked about earlier, Rashi says that this is the source of prayer that God said, I want man to notice what the world needs. I want the man to be the voice of the world, the consciousness of the world, and say, hey, this tree back here is really, it's not looking great. You could really use some help right now. And this, over there, that palm, that mango tree, it needs a little bit less rain than an avocado tree. So, that would be even better. And so what the point that it's trying to bring out was, I believe, that the purpose of prayer is not just to request things, but it's to think through what needs to be taken care of in your life, right? Like and that's why we pray for different categories of things, because you're supposed to think the steps along the process as to what each aspect of your life needs.
That just gave me a great shot, by the way. Can I share?
Yes.
Shot?
Yeah.
So there's a teaching that Adam was able to see me from one end of the world to the other.
Next, yeah.
So think about it. This being, the whole world was created for him. Based on what you're saying, you
can all be in his awareness.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Exactly. And that's why Moshe had that same light. Because Moses had the same, was that prophet that was like that close. He had like that grand sense of awareness and consciousness. And he also had that same light that Adam had. But the point, I think, yeah.
I don't know.
You never heard that?
Where'd you hear that?
That's famous.
That Moshe had that.
The light that was on Moshe's face after he left.
Came down from.
Oh, Moed. After yes, the second time before.
He came down from Har Sinai, no?
Yeah, but then he went to Moed. He put a mask on because could talk to him.
Okay.
Right. He wasn't relatable. He wasn't relatable on an individual level. He had this cosmic consciousness.
Can you imagine? Oh my God.
Dude, but but think about this, right? Whatever variation you want to say, state of mind, psychedelics, spiritual ecstasy, connection with God, use whatever words or state of, he was in obviously a very separate state of consciousness and awareness for 40 days and 40 nights.
Right.
And when you return, you don't relate. When you come back from a trip, right? If you take mushrooms or you take LSD, and then you go into your KPMG office, you'll be like, what is going on right here? Right. Like you'll be like, I can't relate to any of this. I can't speak to any of these individual like cogs like that are like running around like like this quote unquote rat race. I don't relate to it. Like there's a much bigger picture that I'm like part of that I don't relate to that aspect of it. I think that he wasn't able to relate to, like, once you have like that kind of like cosmic or grand awareness, and the point of like what maturing and growing up is including more in your realm of responsibility and awareness, right?
Yeah.
You're not just responsible for yourself now.
Right.
Now you're responsible for your wife and your kids. Now you're responsible as your parents get older for your parents, and their well-being. Now you're responsible for your younger siblings. How are they doing? How you're responsible for your neighborhood, your community. And then when you're praying, you don't have just the awareness of just yourself.
Right.
You have this enhanced awareness where you have
world.
in mind of your world, which
Right.
is constantly expanding to have what's best for them. And the more that your world expands, the more time you need to really think about that. The more consciousness you need to be like, listen, man, like,
Yeah.
like being a teacher, right? It feels like the same thing.
So I love that you're saying this because it's leading right to something else that he was saying. He's like, I had a conversation with a Rav that he respected, and he was and at this point he was already learning deeper stuff, and he said, I have a shot in this thing, right? Like he had an explanation on this esoteric passage. So they discuss it, he gives it over to him, and the Rav says, okay, I need to think about that. He goes, what do you mean? We just talked it through. He's like, yeah, but I want to think about it. And then this Danielle Katz is like, okay. So he takes out a notebook or something and pencils in a time to think about it. It's like, you do that? And then his rabbi's like, you don't?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
He's like, so how often do you spend 5 minutes actually consciously thinking about something, right?
I'm going to start doing that, by the way.
So
I really want to start doing that. That's a great idea. Because there's so many things I say I want to think about, and I never get to thinking about them.
we'll go on the next retreat together.
I don't want to, dude. I don't want to, dude. I'm going to end up moving.
And I have an affiliate link. I'm just kidding.
So funny, dude. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so you were connecting that way. You're getting to this meditative, I guess, more aware, meditative kind of.
Oh, that's
state.
that's basically it. That's like the retreat. I mean, it's one day with lunch breaks, davening breaks, dinner.
How do you implement this in your life now?
Right?
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know.
Well, I think for starters, definitely start by thinking about setting aside time to think about things.
Bro, something just jumped into your pool. I saw a huge splash.
Shout out to Dalton. Yeah, dude. Sorry about that. Took a pee break, got some wine.
Oh, that's right.
Back outside.
Some good wine.
Red wine. Yeah, man. I think that we all need a lot of this. I think that we need one of the things, I guess, more full circle. I was thinking of, especially when I was talking to my students about what was going on, because we spoke about the trans shooter a couple of weeks ago too, right? And I was saying, think about this, right? Most Americans, there's a huge loneliness epidemic happening in America.
Right.
Most Americans don't feel like they have.
Do you know people that?
I do know some people.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I know actually plenty. It happens to be
by the way,
that my religious community around me typically does not have that issue. But that's not always the case. But typically, right?
Right.
Anyway, imagine this, right? You're a regular American kid. Imagine this could have happened to me so easily, like my life trajectory, right? Graduate college end of 2017, right? I work for a couple of years. I'm living in Seattle. 2020, COVID starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lockdown start.
Yeah.
Seattle in particular, was pretty strict. For the next 2 years.
Can't socialize.
Yeah, now I was lucky enough to have 3 friends I was living with, right? But one friend started dating someone else. One friend moved back to New York. Another friend moved back to New York, right? Now I get an apartment, right? I work remote.
Right.
Because I do sales. Sitting in my apartment by myself. When I'm not doing sales, I'm on social media.
True.
When I'm not doing sales, I'm scrolling. I'm by myself. I don't have community because I'm not Jew. I don't have a huge community. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Orthodox. I'm not going to shul. I'm not going to church. I'm not going to anything, right?
Why not?
I'm just talking about a lot of Americans.
I know, but why not? Why not go to?
But that's a good question, right? You probably should. I don't have more than 3 or 4 friends. I'm on Hinge or I'm on all these other dating apps, but none of them really turn into any kind of real relationships. You just match with people and then you kind of try texting awkwardly and then it stops and that's it, right? It is super, super, super easy to go from 2020 to 2025 and end up in a very, very dark place.
Yeah.
In a really, really dark place for a lot of people. And people like, and this isn't just like like a random case. These are like grades at a time in schools in Binghamton and NYU and Maryland, where like kids are moving to the city. Got people are moving to the city, and like even if you have roommates in Manhattan, right? You got 3 roommates. One of your roommates works in finance. He's in your he's talking to you half an hour a day.
To 5 years. You're saying the 5 years.
I'm saying that we have been prime for like a mental health societal breakdown for a long time. Community, people are not interacting with other people. No one goes to movies. People don't go to concerts very often, very much. People do not have groups of friends. People do not have meaningful relationships. People don't have communities, religious or affiliations. Even just the value like of having a rabbi that like you can talk to and like a guide in your life where the walls feel like they're caving in and you're stressed and you don't know who to talk to and you can't talk to your wife because you don't want to stress her out about how stressed out you are, and you just call someone and you just say, I feel like this is about to break down, and like to have like a human being on the other end of the phone that's been through that and say like understand and like maybe help, maybe not, you can talk it out, you can talk through it.
Right.
That is such a rare.
Right. It
doesn't happen to people. People don't have that. We take
Right.
that for granted. And then when people come out and they do crazy acts or they start acting like lunatics in the street or do crazy shit like shoot up a school or something like that, God forbid, a million times. And it doesn't have to even be that extreme. But like, how many people are numb to life? How many people like don't have any embodied reality at all?
I can't imagine how many people on Twitter have seen the video. That
Yeah.
people have to post, don't watch the video.
Yeah.
I'm like, people are watching this?
Everyone was watching it, dude. Everyone.
But like you like come so far to like be the voice that's drowned out is the voice that's saying do yourself a favor and don't watch the video, because the default is you're gonna watch the video and watch someone publicly executed on your phone in the bathroom probably.
You are.
Yeah.
And you know what? I also think that there's an actual thing too. I think that there's different. It's so fascinating because Dave Smith actually just said it today, and I thought about it, and I really think it's true. There's almost a kind of satisfaction about self-destructive behavior. Like there is a pleasure that people get out of self-destructive behavior where you know what you're doing is like hurting yourself, and you know you're like getting yourself deeper in that pit, but you kind of want to put yourself there.
I want to look something up for you because I think you're going to enjoy it.
You know?
Danielle Katz is saying that there are 5, was it 5? No, 10 principles or 8 principles. And one of them was like, your default state is self-sabotage. And like, and it is.
It is.
It's like, that's what it means, that your
because it feels good.
Soul, right.
Like, and there's something to like soak, and you almost don't want to admit it. Like, you don't want to say like it feels good to like do this self-destructive thing. But why do you think people can't help themselves?
I think it's conditioned. I think it's not conditioned. I think it's
not
nature.
Natural.
I think it's nature. Like
I think it is too.
It's natural to feel that way.
I think it is too, dude.
Damn, we're getting rained out again.
It's gonna stop. Should I open the what do you call it? Should I open the shade more?
Does it go out further?
Of course it does. Hang on. I mean, it doesn't really help if it's like Florida raining, but like,
if it's like a light drizzle, it'll.
If it's passing over, it's all right. Yeah, dude. So I think that the combination of the two, and like we're kind of making. It's funny. I'm thinking. Hang on. Fuck, too far.
Yeah.
I was thinking about vices, right? Like what's like socially popular in terms of vices, right? Because like this generation's really less into alcohol than like you've ever seen, but like a lot more into weed.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Especially among the
How do you
youth.
know that?
It's just been
there was a study on
alcohol. Alcohol has potentially gone into permanent decline. Actually,
what is permanent?
Drop in sales, drop in interest in drinking, dropping the amount of time that how frequently people drink, and and how much has just all been going down. I'm sure Huberman had a big part of it, by the way, and Rogan too. And like, there's a lot of people that like university are just coming out and being like, your life would be better if you didn't drink alcohol.
Right.
But I also think that at the end of the day, we're also like pot's becoming big, and you don't really like to drink most of the time when you're stoned. Or a lot of people don't.
Okay. Right.
So, what I thought was fascinating was like,
Or maybe you could do more when you're high. Like you don't have to stop. Like if you're drunk, you can't do anything. But if you're
high, you can.
you can
Being high was more debilitating to me than being drunk.
you can cook when you're high. Like you can't really cook when you're drunk.
Fine, but short of that, like, I would put me in like, I think 9 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10 situations. I think I would probably be more functional drunk.
Oh.
If you're going to pray, yeah, you're talking about crazy things like
Right.
sure, or like, I mean, but I think one of the few. So whatever.
Yeah,
anyway,
whatever. Not important.
So so what I believe is that, or what I've been like this theory or this sense that I get is that this generation is a generation so far of loneliness, and weed is like the seclusion drug. Like weed does not make you want to be social for the most part. Most people associate smoking with watching a movie, watching TV, scrolling, cooking, and eating. But generally, like if I'm about to go out with friends and I smoke a J, like I'm not going anywhere, dude. Or I'm much less inclined to, And alcohol is much more of like a social vice and much more of like a social lubricant, right? And like the culture, even 10, 15 years ago, like I don't know about you, my friends were getting internships in like college and like starting work. They had like these like team like dinners or happy hours like every couple of weeks, and like it was like huge in the culture to like drink together and like get to spend time together and like do
But
group
now
activities.
It doesn't happen.
Well, COVID wiped that out.
So
And then people
do that
stopped.
anymore, you think?
Yeah, and then people realized how much money they were saving and how unhealthy it was in that time. And I think that all that stuff was expensive, and I think that once they started cutting it, it's hard to go back to uncutting it.
Right. Like
If you're JP
if I could
Morgan-
save $10,000 a month on rent, where I could just hire my team remotely.
Yeah.
Why would I go back to the $10,000 a month rent?
Yeah, totally. Or instead of spending X amount on client relationships, because and when we sit down and like have a dinner together and I have to wine and dine them. Over the last 3 years, it became normal to do everything on Zoom, and like they still feel loved because I call them once a month. Like, why would I spend 10 grand, 15 grand a night, in these places? If that's tiny, number relative to what they spend.
There was this.
So
Yeah, I don't want to. There was this AI generated voice over from Charlie Kirk. It's like it was really insane.
No way.
Of like, what would Charlie Kirk say now if he was?
Holy
Dude, and it was like,
can you play it? Are we allowed to play it?
Why not?
It's not copyrighted, I guess, right?
I don't think people are coming after you yet.
Not yet, dude. You never know, man.
Listen to this, dude. It's 1 second.
First, I want you to know I'm fine, not because my body is fine, but because my soul is secure in Christ. Death is not the end. It's a promotion. Don't waste 1 second mourning me. I knew the risks of standing up in this cultural moment, and I'd do it all over again. Second, do not let this violence divide us further. The enemy wants chaos, fear, and retaliation. Don't give it to them. Instead, double down on truth. Double down on courage. Double down on your faith and on your families. That is how you honor me. Third, remember this. America is worth it. Free speech is worth it. Fighting for the unborn, for families, for sanity in a culture gone mad. It is all worth it. So dry your tears, pick up your cross, and get back in the fight. Do it with joy. Do it with strength. And never, ever let evil think it won. First,
that's it.
Holy
Isn't that nuts, dude? And it was like so spot on with like what he would say.
Wow, man.
Dude, does that not feel like resurrection of the dead?
Something like that, man.
That's amazing, bro.
Holy crap, dude. Let's call it here, man.
Yeah.
With the rain and everything. That was good. That's a good way to call it. That was a lot of fun, dude. Thanks for doing it.
Whoa.